Welcome back to the show. Welcome back to PhotoJoseph's Photo Moment. We are now in the commentary section where we can talk about anything you guys want to talk about. We just wrapped up a show on shooting videos and stills simultaneously on any Lumix camera, not just the GH5, but it works on the GX8, works on the GX85, and I think pretty much all Lumix cameras. It's kind of an awesome feature. So if you're interested in that and you haven't seen it, scroll back and watch that video. Let's see what is coming up in the comments today. Beardy Face says, Germany has its own version, the G81, instead of the G80 or G85. Never understood why. Oh, that's weird. We were talking about in the previous show, differences between model numbers between US and Europe and warranties and record limit times and so on. But that, I didn't even know there was a G81. That is totally news to me. Alexander says, taking pictures on my G7, awesome camera, RAW, I play back to check my pictures and they look compressed and it's hard to check proper focus. Oh, okay, am I imagining this or the previews in the camera's compressed? It's not that they're compressed. It's that if you're shooting, when you shoot RAW, what you're looking at on the back of the camera is an embedded JPEG file. You're not looking at the actual RAW image. That would require the camera to process the RAW file, which takes time. So it embeds a JPEG into that file. That JPEG is not a full resolution JPEG. There's no hard, fast answer as to what resolution any camera in the world embeds their JPEGs in. Some cameras do embed full-size JPEGs, some do smaller JPEGs. I'd have to check on the G7. I think it's probably a 2048 JPEG. So whatever it is, it's definitely a lower resolution. That I can guarantee you. And that means that if you zoom into the picture on the back of the camera, once you get past 1:1, which is not as close as you would think it could be because you know that the image is higher resolution, you will start to see pixeling. And that's because you're going beyond 1:1 in the zoom. It's not because it's compressed, but because it's beyond 1:1. I mean, it is compressed, it's a JPEG, but that's not what you're seeing. You're seeing the fact that it is a lower resolution image. So yeah, that's what that is. One way that you can tell what the resolution is if you open, the only place I've really seen this show up is if you take a RAW file into an iOS device and then you open that RAW file in an app that does not support RAW, it will extract the JPEG instead. And if that app happens to tell you what the resolution is, then you can see it. So where was I seeing this? Shoot, I'm trying to remember some of the apps that I've seen this on. I've seen it in Snapseed on files that are not supported, but it does support a lot of RAW files, but not every RAW file. So I've seen it show up in there. I've seen it on the RAW app from 500px, again on files that it doesn't support. I've seen it show up there. So I have seen it in a couple of places, but it can be a little hard to track down. But that's why. That is what you're seeing in there. JD Baker says, how do I view 10-bit video files on a Mac? You have to open them in a video editor. You cannot open them in the Finder. They will not show up in the Finder in QuickTime. You need to open them in Final Cut or in Premiere or in DaVinci's Resolve. Those are 3 apps that will support 10-bit video files from the GH5, so that's how you see them. Xcube720 says, so if you pay for a 4-year warranty from a third party, would I still have issues to get it fixed? No, third parties, that's whatever their rules are. That's up to them. I assume a Panasonic repair partner would take it in, just like when the warranty ends. Yeah, it's just not under warranty unless it's a third-party warranty, and then again, it's up to their rules. We're talking about the whole difference between buying gray market, black market, but still don't buy gray market. Don't do that. It's just better. Curdy says, what do you think about the 15mm Panasonic lens? You mean this one right here? You mean the 15mm Leica f1.7? I've talked about this lens quite a bit. It is one of my absolute favorite lenses. Don't walk, run, and buy this lens. I love it. Love, love, love this lens. I use it a lot. This right here, this is one of my favorite combinations. If I'm going to go out street shooting, going out on travels, right there, GX85 and the 15mm Leica lens. Love it. This is the little metal lens shade that's on there. Take it off, it's even smaller, but it's a nice lens shade. I just leave it on. It actually comes with a lens cap, a secondary lens cap, a big rubber one that fits on there. So it can come off a little too easily. You might want to like tape it down or something. But anyway, that is a fabulous combination right there. So I love that lens. Next question. Where did it go? Here we go. Quentin says, I think it's finally time to graduate from photo tripods to video tripods. Excellent. Wondering if you have any recommendation for a video tripod for a GH5 size camera. Funny you should ask, Quentin. I just did a final roundup of a Manfrotto tripod with the N8 head, the Nitro Tech, I think it was called, N8 head. We'll link to that playlist right here because we have, yeah, that's right. My point in the right place. We'll link to a playlist. I did a series of videos from an unboxing through a couple of uses through a final wrap-up, and I really, really like the head. It's a little spendy, but it is very nice, very smooth. It can support a much bigger camera, so if you end up adding onto your GH5, you know, big lens, bellows, cage, battery pack, all this other stuff, it can handle a hell of a lot more weight, but it works perfectly fine with the GH5 as well. So it is a very robust, very nice tripod head and legs. It was about $1,000 for the head and legs, depending on which legs you get with it. And I would also recommend getting video legs for it, which means video legs, basically there's a, instead of like regular tripod legs, you got to undo all these different poles and take them down separately. Video legs, just like a one thing you undo and they all go thunk at the same time, makes it really easy to adjust the height on it. Not as versatile as still photography legs for a variety of other reasons, but when you're shooting video, I think it's a good idea to have. I actually don't own a set of those legs. When I requested the tripod head, the N8 from B&H, I made a mistake and I didn't ask for the one with the video legs, which kind of bummed me out. Although it's probably a good thing, because if I had that, I probably wouldn't have sent it back and it would have cost me $1,000. But I would have loved to have kept it, but I just didn't have the $1,000 to spend on it. But it's a really, really nice combination. So check it out. But yes, video head, a proper video head. If you're shooting video, if you're going to do it, do it. Go all the way. Buy something good. Alrighty, let's see here. Back to the comments. Alexander says, this is one reason I shoot RAW plus JPEG, because I get better previews. Minor problem, but okay. That's fair enough. That's a good reason to shoot RAW plus JPEG. You get that better preview file when you're shooting that, so you can zoom in. Because then when you're looking at the preview on the back of the camera, you're looking at the actual JPEG file. Makes sense. Xcube says, thank you for answering our questions. Why, my pleasure. I certainly try. Sorry for asking so much. No, that's why we're here. Ask away. But I will buy the extended warranty anyways. $100 for 4 years on a camera worth $2.5K. Yeah, there you go. That's a great, it's only $100, really. Where are you buying it? That's a good deal. $100 for an extended warranty on the camera. That's a really good deal. Is there a deductible on that? There might be. I wonder if there's a deductible. That's a pretty good price. Usually you can expect us to pay about 10% of the value for a really good insurance policy. So that's cheap. Please tell me where you're getting that. Balik Production says, hi, do YouTube knows when, I don't know what that means, when the GH5 training will be on Lin? Do I know? Okay. Do I know when the okay, guys, just do me a little favor. When you type a question, before you hit send, reread your question. There's no rush to get your question up. Reread your question and make sure that there's no typos, there's no autocorrect things, because when I'm reading the questions live on the air and I run into a combination of words that doesn't make sense, my brain comes to a screeching halt and turns around and runs the other way. And then I sit here going, abda, 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 abda. So just do me that favor, read your question before you hit send, make sure that it's spot on, and that will make my job a lot easier. I appreciate that. So, do you know, I'm going to assume, when the GH5 training will be on lynda.com? I just pulled the trigger on the Leica 12-60 after your recommendation. Excellent. Can't wait. So I don't know. They have it, because it's done. It's in their possession now. They told me that they could take up to 6 weeks to review it, but that they don't. It won't take that long. I am assuming / hoping it'll only take around 3 weeks, but I can't guarantee anything. I can't guarantee anything at all. So that's all I got for you. Let's see here. Next question. Bart Johnson says, hi everyone, driving can't talk. Well, then what are you doing talking? My goodness. Quentin says, I saw your N8 video, seemed like it was too big for GH5. Not too big. It's bigger than you need, yes, but not too big, because you can always add more onto it. And you saw with that big lens on there, it's definitely not too big. So it is a bigger head. You don't need that big, but you won't regret having that big. Other than the dent in your pocketbook, you won't regret it. And that head was smooth. I really liked it. Okay, Curdy says, what kind of macro lens do you recommend for the GH5? Well, there's only two from Panasonic. There's the 30mm macro and the 42.5 or 45mm macro. Those are the only two actual Lumix Panasonic macro lenses. The 45mm is a Leica lens. The 30mm is not. I think I've got the 30. Yeah, I got the 30 right here. They're both physically about the same size. This 30 is lighter weight. It, I think, costs less. It must, because it's not the Leica one. I actually don't know. We'll link to these down below. We'll be sure to mention them in the show notes. I haven't had any sharpness issues with the 30. It's a phenomenal lens. I think it's more, I would recommend buying more on what focal length you need. Do you want to be able to be a little bit farther away from your subject? Are you shooting poisonous, venomous, nasty bugs and spiders? Then get that longer lens, back up. If you want to physically get closer and the field of view, the 60mm equivalent field of view works for you, then the 30. I'm sure this one costs less. So that's basically your trade-off. I haven't done like any kind of big side-by-side comparison. The Leica should be sharper because it's a Leica, but I have not done a side-by-side. And like I said, I've had no problems with the 30. So I would buy, based off what I know now, without doing any further testing, I would recommend buying simply based off of focal length. What do you need? Do you want to get closer to your subject without getting closer to your subject? Makes sense? Cool. I'm sure are third-party macro lenses. I have not looked into any of them, so I can't recommend. My apologies. Burns Tech says, where'd it go? Come back here. Burns Tech says, buy once, cry once, especially with photo video gear. It's hard sometimes since most of the really good stuff is quite spendy. I like that. Buy once, cry once. That's really good advice. Good camera gear. Any of you who have been doing this for a while, are professionals, or simply have been buying camera gear for decades, know that if you buy cheap, you're going to be replacing it. You are, and you're going to end up spending more money in the long run. Right? If you buy a $500 tripod today, let's not go 500. 500 is still a pretty good tripod, but let's just say that you find a $500 tripod legs and head combination. You think, all right, that's what I'm going to get. It's not as good as the $1,000 one, right? And you're probably going to at some point go, it's not smooth enough. It broke down. You should have spent the money. It really is worth it. He's got the right advice. Just bite the bullet. Get the good stuff. Don't go into debt doing it. I never advocate that. Don't put it on the credit card. Pay cash. Save your money if you have to. Rent if you can't afford it. That's always, always good advice. Rent if you can't afford the good gear, but don't buy cheap gear. It's just not worth it. In the long run, it just isn't worth it. Save your money. Buy the good stuff. End of lecture. John Morby says it doesn't help that the chat filters certain words. Yeah, but it doesn't filter words like you. I don't know what you mean, John, but thank you. Carlos says, any way to check shutter count on the GH5? Oh, good question. I don't think so. The factory can check it. I don't think you can, as far as I know. If there is a way, I don't know what it is. But yeah, I don't know. But I know the factory can. That I know for sure, but I don't think there's any way for the users to do it. All right, that is about that. Reminder, if I see a question in there, I'm not even going to answer. I see a question in there that doesn't have a PhotoJoseph in front of it. Remember, if you have a question you want to ask and you want me to see it, you've got to put @PhotoJoseph in front of it, because otherwise, as you can see, there's too much stuff scrolling by. If it doesn't have my name in front of it, I don't know that it's a question for me, because there's a lot of conversation going back and forth between you guys, which is awesome. I love that. Which means when you want my attention, you got to put that PhotoJoseph. Or if you really want my attention, there's that little dollar sign down there. Look, see this guy right here? So you can click that right there. That's super cool. You click that and it's like, woohoo, send a super chat. So I like super chats. Super chats are nice. Anyway, so all right, let's see now. Oh, John Morby says it filters things such as eBay and Instagram. What, seriously? You can't type eBay or Instagram into the chat? Is that right, Ryan? That's insane. That is great. Oh, Joseph Doll is here. Joseph, well, thank you, Doll. Thank you for coming in. Okay, two things. First, he has a question. Have you noticed fringing on your 25-1.4 Leica? I can't use mine for video at 1.4 without major fringing issues. Do I need to send it in, or is this normal? I would say, everybody's writing eBay and Instagram right now. See, you guys are nuts. I haven't noticed fringing. I think mine isn't super sharp on the edges when it's wide open. I will say that. I haven't noticed fringing. Maybe I'm not shooting the same conditions that you are. But yeah, it is not the sharpest of lenses. I have said that before. It's just, now I've had people say that it is an amazingly sharp lens all the way through. So different copies, I don't know. But yeah, I think it's just, my personal opinion is just the nature of that lens. Joseph, since you are here, we brought up your photos earlier. Let me bring this up again. And oops, wrong. Come back here. Here we go. We brought up your photos earlier, and I had a question for you. These all are 4:3 aspect ratio, so I'm assuming that you shot all of these when you were in the photo priority mode, meaning that video stopped recording, the camera shot a full resolution still, in RAW potentially, and then went back to recording video. Can you confirm that, or were these shot in video mode and these are actual JPEGs extracted from the video, which means you're shooting video and it did not interrupt while you're shooting, and either you shooting in 4:3 aspect ratio or you simply crop the photos afterwards? Please confirm in the comments, because we would like to know. Okay. Xcube says, can you compare the bokeh on the 12-35-1.8 12-35-2.8 versus the 16-60 12-60 kit lens? Interesting. Okay. Yeah, let's do that sometime. Let's compare those lenses sometime. I think that's a good idea. Ryan, please write that down. Stefan says, hey, I'm seeing a random horizontal glitch line, from my GH5 4K footage after playing it back on my Mac. What's the reason for this? I use a Sony G card 128 gig. And if you freeze frame on it, this is like going frame by frame, you're seeing it. I don't know. Yeah, it could be the card. I've never seen or heard of that, so it could be a write issue. Is this something that happens often? If it's happening often, the first thing I would say is reformat the card. I'm assuming you're reformatting every time you use the card. If not, reformat the card. If that doesn't solve it, try a different card. If that doesn't solve it, I'd say do a reset on the camera, see if that solves it, but I really don't think it would. I think if it's still doing it, then that's a repair issue and it needs to go back to Panasonic. But you'll want to go through that first. Make sure it's not the card. So reformat and then try a new card and see if and then do a reset. May as well just cover all the bases. And at that point, if it's still there, call Panasonic, because that is definitely a not a normal issue. David Zung says, I lost the use of my FN2 button. I must have reset something by accident in the menu during an underwater shoot. Any suggestions on how to reset it? You lost the use of your FN2 button. Well, press and hold on the button for 2 seconds or whatever it is, and that should pop up a menu allowing you to choose what it does. Maybe it's set to ignore, in which case it would have lost the use of it. That's the only thing that I can think of. So press and hold on it for a couple seconds. It'll pop up the menu allowing you to choose what that FN button does. See if it's set to ignore. Hopefully that helps. You can try that right now if you got your camera in your hands. Teresa Leggett says, did I miss testing with Panasonic app on the iPhone? Oh, no, you didn't miss it. I didn't do it. I guess we'll do it now. Okay, we're going to do that. Joseph Dahl says, oh good, I was shooting in manual photo mode, but my video is set to 4K anamorphic. Okay, I use that because it gives me better play since I export to 1080p, doesn't stop video recording. Okay, so you're shooting in the mode that doesn't stop video recording, which means these are JPEGs extracted from the video. Man, that looks great. So that is awesome. Thank you for sharing that, Joseph. That tells us there just how good of a quality image you can get while shooting video mode, 4K video, and just telling the camera to extract a still on demand. That's cool. Thank you very much. Quentin says, might be a graphics driver glitch on the computer. Yeah, well, that's what I'm saying. If you're looking at the video file, if that glitch shows up in the same place, if you go frame by frame and there it is, then it's in the video file. If it's just something that happens on random while you're playing the video, then that is a computer graphics card issue or something in the software. So yes, thank you for pointing that out, Quentin. There you go. David says, I tried holding the FN2 button down for a few seconds and nothing happens. Okay, do a camera reset. Save your settings to the camera, we talked about that in yesterday's video, 2 days ago video. Save your camera settings to a memory card, do a reset on the camera, see if the FN2 button comes back. If it does, load your camera settings back up again. If it's still gone, then you gotta find the setting, and then I really don't know where to tell you to go. That is weird, but yeah, I mean, it should always come up. I don't think there's any command that says completely ignore the FN2 button. Okay. Alexander says, how do the different 1080p modes sample the sensor in the GH5, line skip, downscale, downscale? And at what frame rates? All frame rates, they downscale. So when you're shooting 1080p on and 4K, when you're shooting anything on the GH5, it is using the entire sensor and is downscaling in real time. The GH4 used to punch into the sensor and used native 1920 by 1080 pixels when shooting HD, and it used native 3820, 4K pixels when shooting 4K. It never used the whole sensor. The GH5 uses the whole sensor for everything, which means it's always scaling it down just a little bit, so you get that subsampling, which adds to the quality and makes it that much nicer. Okay. Have I heard about 6K video mode? The 6K video mode was a misnomer. That's not 6K video mode. It is an anamorphic. I don't know what they're calling it. I don't know if Panasonic decided what to actually call this thing. They were going to call it 6K video, decided not to because it's not accurate. But that's something that's coming in the next major update. So we'll talk about that when it comes. Okay. All right, one more. JV Parker says, have you ever experienced problems viewing RAW files on an iPad Pro in Photos? Right. GH5 RAW files, iPad, I don't think they read. I'm pretty sure they don't. No, did they add? Did GH5 support get added to iOS? I think it got added recently. Make sure you're up to the latest iOS version. I think that was a recent addition. And yes, they read fine in Lightroom. I think. I'd have to check, but I'm pretty sure that's right. Okay, let's do this. Let's try. So a question had come up. The actual today's real video was talking about shooting stills and video simultaneously from the, well, from any Lumix camera, but we're using the GH5. And then someone asked, can you control that from the app? And I said, hoo-hoo, good question, let's find out. And then I forgot to find out. So that's what we're gonna do right now. So let's see here. Camera's on, I'm gonna switch this into, let's go back to this real quick. I'm going to switch this into video priority mode. So that means now when it's shooting video, it will not stop recording video. We are in a still shooting mode. I'm in aperture priority. I will start recording video by pushing the red button. Well, I would if I was using the camera, but I'm gonna try and control it from here. So let's set this up. Here I can show you this part. Let's go into the menu. We'll go to Wi-Fi, excuse me, and, oh, well, now it's gonna blank out the screen, so let's just get that back while that waits to think of itself and find itself. TV output in progress. Now I have to look here. Okay, Wi-Fi function, new connection, remote shooting in view. It is now on. I am now going to my iPhone, which you can't see. I'm not going to hook that up. Going to my iPhone, and if you're wondering how this whole thing works in detail, this is included in my GH5 training. I did a whole thing about how to do this on the GH5 training. So, and if you don't know what that is, let me unlock that. Here we go. In case you're wondering what the heck the GH5 training is, although I don't know how you could have missed it by now, go to gh5training.com and you will have access to a complete GH5 training course. Okay. Oh, there it is, GH5. Okay, that showed up. It is connecting, it is thinking, it is trying to connect, it's considering it, it has connected. Now I'm going to go into the app. I guess actually I do need to, yeah, you want to see it on there. You don't need to see it on the camera. So let's do this. I need this. I need this, and fire up the image app, waiting for this to sync up to my switcher. There it is. Okay, so now rotate. There we go. Now you're looking at my phone. We are going to go into remote operation mode, and there we go. Okay, so I'm going to start recording video. Push the button on the top right. It is now recording video, and now I'm going to hit the shutter button in the right-hand side middle, and yep, it is absolutely doing that. See, you're getting the same display on there. It is showing me that it is extracting a still frame. So yes, it does work when triggered from the remote app. Man, that's cool. That is just awesome. That is super awesome. Okay, digging it, loving that. Neat, neat stuff. Okay, now let's turn all this off. Stop recording video. So there you go. I'm glad. Whoa. Uh-oh. We just lost sound somewhere. Do you guys still hear me? Oh, that's... Okay. Huh, something weird happening in my ear. Okay, so that is that. All right, last little bits of questions in here, and then we are going to wrap this thing up, especially since I just lost sound in one ear, and that makes me very, very nervous. Burn6 is super duper 6 quintillion picture mode instead of 6K video mode. It sounds cooler. I'm down with that. I'll tell Sean. Carlo Bot says, Rich B pointed out a video by Photomo how to check shutter count. Thanks to him. Oh, okay, great. So look up a video by Photomo, F-O-T-O-M-O, Photomo. Search for that and shutter count, and you'll probably find it. Quentin Smith says, Adorama and B&H both say the N8 head is unavailable with no ETA. Oh, that sucks. Well, that's a shame. That's a great head. Maybe it's too great of a head. They sold out. Now, they did do a little recall on it, but it was a totally voluntary recall. They found a potential issue, which I never ran into, but it's one of those, hey, if they're going to fix it, may as well. I wonder if they found something else. That'd be sad. That'd be very sad. Xcube720 says, have you used the Rode Mic Go with the GH5? I read they have issues with Wi-Fi and camera is on. No, I have not used the Rode Mic Go. Interesting. I have not. Burnstack's GH5 training is loaded with info. Totally worth every penny. Thank you very much, my friend, for sharing that. Panasonic really nailed it on the head with their app and camera interface. Totally effing awesome. It is pretty awesome, isn't it? Yeah, you know, I mean, when you compare it to other apps out there too, it is definitely really good. Marvin says, you just got your little 4-wheel dolly. Oh, cool. Did you get the Edelchrome ones? I love they're a little expensive, but I love their products. Man, that's some good stuff. I did a couple of videos on the motorized slider. Thing's amazing. I need to find more uses for it because I just love using it. Okay, I'm out of here, guys. This has been fun. Good Q&A. Thank you for reminding me, whoever that was, to do that test on there. I'm glad that works. Thank you, Joseph Dahl, for tuning in and clarifying for us how you were shooting. And we're going to wrap it up. Thank you very much, everybody. Take care of yourselves. Have a wonderful day. We'll see you tomorrow, Friday. Tomorrow is Friday. Tomorrow is Mevo Friday. Actually, I think it's going to be Drone Friday. I want to fly again with the drone. I don't know what I'm going to do, but I love going live from that. So tomorrow might be Spark Friday. We'll see what happens. Take care of yourselves. See you tomorrow. Bye-bye.